Good afternoon.
Afternoon, everybody. From a very wet Belfast. It's
horrible.
Lashing here, as we say.
Or bucketing. It's bucketing.
It's bucketing and lashing. But we
didn't get out for.
No, we
walk
didn't.
or
We didn't.
No, I did
Pilates.
I did a little Pilates session online.
But we did it was our eldest granddaughter's birthday yesterday. She was 12, Maddie, in Dublin. Couldn't get down, unfortunately, because of lockdown. Although I did want to break through the barricades.
I had to lock you up to stop you from going.
Anyway, but we had a Zoom quiz. We do this thing, and your birthday's on Sunday night, and Susan's as well.
Well, it's actually all day Sunday. It's not just Sunday night.
Your mother said you were born Sunday night, so. And
he's planning all sorts of wonderful surprises.
Yes, our team number, Priscilla and I, team number is the elderly.
We didn't do very well,
especially the music stuff, which isn't really.
Yes, we failed miserably. Although I think you should have done better. You listened.
I did listen to music. That's true, right enough. But
we did not.
Buddy
we came last. We came last.
Bread, America.
You listened to some modern
Crosby,
stuff
Stills,
as well.
Nash and Young. Yes, I do. No, I listen to those, the script and all that.
Oh, you're so trendy.
Avant-garde. Anyway, what's the Lord been saying to you?
Well, as you know, I'm reading John's Gospel, and I'm really enjoying it, just reading it afresh. And it struck me whenever I was reading chapter 3, they come and say to John, well, you've had this amazing ministry, you've been baptizing people, like crowds are coming out to see and hear you, but now this other person, Jesus, has showed up. And he's drawing disciples and he's drawing people away from you. And it was almost like, well, the Pharisees were trying to set up this whole competition thing and comparison thing. And I love both how John and Jesus respond. For John, he's so secure. He just goes, I know what I was called to. I was called to prepare the way. I was called to point the way to the one who was to come. And now that he's being released into his ministry, my job is to decrease and he will increase. And so there's no sense of insecurity in him as this season for him changes, and no sense that he's going to dive in to competing or comparison, because he knows exactly who he is and what he's called to. And then in chapter 4 it says Jesus learned that the Pharisees had heard that he was gaining and baptizing more disciples than John. And what does Jesus do? It just says so he left Judea and went back once more to Galilee. So although earlier in the gospel we know Jesus isn't afraid of confrontation, but he just wasn't going to engage in this comparison thing, and so
John certainly wasn't either.
And John knew exactly what he was.
I think insecurity is one of the things that makes you compare yourself with other people. Unfavorable.
Just turn it off and we'll keep going. Alistair, we're not answering the phone at the minute.
Got a phone call. We were disturbed by a knock at the door there. So this was our second go.
So we're not doing it.
What was I saying there? It's gone from the elderly. It's gone from yes, it's a bit comparison. It's about insecurity.
Coming from insecurity.
Yeah, I remember when we got Alexa, the Echo Alexa Dot thing, and I every now and then I would go, Alexa, who's a better preacher, Paul or Priscilla Reid?
And they always said Priscilla.
She always said Paul. Actually, it's funny, in one of the parables again of the talents, in most parables, Jesus, there's two people contrasted against each other, and that's what Jesus does. But in this one, there's three. There's somebody with 5 talents, somebody with 2 talents, somebody with 1 talent, and it's actually very significant because it means it is not about comparisons. It's about what you do with what you're given. And everybody is given a different gift, and you don't get to choose the gift. You get to work at it and hone it and develop it, etc. But ultimately, some people are given a gift which is greater than yours. I mean, and you have to accept that in life. I accept that there aren't any better preachers than you or me. But when you say, Lord, you've given me this wonderful gift, I'm going to make the best of it, and I'm not going to say, how am I against somebody else? Somebody else may inspire me to do better. I mean, when I think of people in my life, like Derek Bingham, who was a great influence in our life, he inspired us. You know, and contemporary, Jeff Lucas. I've always looked at Jeff as the Prince of Preachers, master in communication. Thought I need to listen to Jeff and hone what I'm doing. So I want to do that. But ultimately, I've been given a unique gift, and the Lord will never say to me when I meet him, "What did you do with what compared to how Jeff did?" He'll say, "What did you do with what I gave you, Paul? Don't compare yourself to anybody else."
And I think it's particularly relevant at the minute for whatever situation we find ourselves in. I mean, there are parents at the minute who are homeschooling and probably tearing their hair out, but you know, it's the old thing of social media. You read some and you see other people's lives and you go, oh, they're doing brilliant.
They're in the quantum physics.
Yes,
and they're
yes. And look how brilliant their kids are doing and we're not doing so well. It's like at every level we are tempted to compare ourselves, and always unfavourably to others. And you know, I think it's happening with churches at the minute too, as to how we're coping with all of the new restrictions. And there's a tendency then even amongst maybe leaders and pastors to go, oh my goodness, you know, we're not doing as well as so and so down the road. But so I just think it's a pointless exercise. It doesn't get you anywhere, and it doesn't build you up.
Well, if you're better than somebody, it leads to pride, and if you're worse than somebody, it leads to depression.
Well, that's a very good point. You know? And I think even for us, where the year before last we were travelling, we were doing lots of stuff, and sometimes you go online and you see so and so's doing such and such, and so and so's doing such and such, and you go, oh,
who?
You know, I don't know, but you know, and you go, oh, they got asked to do that. It's almost like our human reaction.
Yeah.
But you have to come back down to the fact, you know, it is Psalm 139, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. It is the fact that the Holy Spirit gives us gifts as He chooses, and also gives you the field or the scope to operate in, and that we're just called to be faithful to what God has asked us to do, and we won't do it perfectly, and we won't be, you know.
But there's always scope to improve as well, isn't there? Work at it, develop it, hone your skills and your gifts.
Let's not make ourselves miserable by comparing ourselves to other people.
I know, it's like the time, remember we were in Malibu, and we were in an open-topped car. Somebody had loaned us a Porsche actually, and we're driving in, and Jennifer Aniston appeared. Do you remember that? Seriously?
Yes, I do remember.
And she thought I was Bruce Willis. Jennifer, that is. She just saw me. I had no top on.
And she yelled, "Hi, Bruce."
And she said, "Hi, Bruce."
This is all in Paul's imagination.
No, she did smile at us though, didn't she?
Well, she did smile. She was walking her dog.
She was walking the dog. But I think she thought I was Bruce. Anyway, no comparison, although people have said Bruce and I are the spitting image of each other. God bless you. Have a great week. Bye.
Bye.